Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing today on this Friday, June 30th? We are on the last day of June, which means we are one day away from getting into July, which means training camp, which means the closer we get to the start of the 2023 season. How y'all doing? This is your Uncle Steve here in the Friday brunch. We try to do it every week around 1:30, depending on what's going on in my business this week. But today we were able to jump on here a little bit more close to the time we're going to do this. We're going to try to make this a staple every Friday. Going into the season. We'll do this usually to preview the games going into the week. So make sure you stay on here at 1:00 Friday afternoon to see what the picks are and all that stuff. If you get a chance, please subscribe to the channel, tell your friends. There's some good content over here trying to enlighten and entertain the Falcon audience out there. So I got into something today where it kind of just hit me. We have one of the ups and downs of the offseason is that we tend to beat stuff into the ground. And I think of all the sports, if I'm not mistaken, especially the major sports, when you're talking baseball, basketball, hockey, football has the longest off season, whether it be pro or college. So you have a lot of downtime to think, to try to come up with topics, to try to get something to concern yourself about. And when you're talking about content that you create for a football season, you really only have a small window. You have a large window, but in between that time, it's just so much dead space. So I just said to myself, I said, we have talked probably about Desmond Ridder ad nauseum, talked about Bijan Robinson ad nauseum. And I'm just kind of wondering, who is that Falcon player we haven't talked about that much this offseason? And not to say you haven't talked about him at all. It could be somebody kind of middle of the road, but probably taking Desmond out of it, probably taking Bijan out of it. Who's the player that we haven't talked about a lot, yet we need them to succeed in the off season from this season, this coming season, 2023 season? Who is it that we haven't touched on that much, but we need them in order to have success in 2023? I have a couple that have come to mind, and I know no one. I can't say no one. There are people who have talked about a couple of these guys, but I'm very interested to see what happens or what goes forward with our center position. I know everyone is pretty much penciled Dahlman in as the guy, and it seems like he's going to be the guy sitting right there. I don't know. I saw a lot of things that kind of made me scratch my head about him last year. Now, hopefully, maybe he's made a quantum leap into one of the offensive linemen I can trust. But at the same time, he's somebody that I haven't heard them talk about a whole lot, that he has to be the man in order for us to succeed. Because you could have the greatest right side with Lindstrom and McGarry all you want to. If the center's not doing his job, it's going to be kind of suspect. So who's that one Falcon player we haven't heard of enough this offseason? That's where I'm going with that. Now, as far as the other question I had that was in the comments, hopefully pretty soon, in trying to work it out, I'm going to take a trip with my wife and hopefully get out of town and hit Vegas later on this year. So it doesn't have to be that specific. I know a lot of people say, well, the under with uh, you know, 800 over one odds and all that junk. I'm not looking for that. What common bet would you make if you had money? Let's just say hypothetically $100 that somebody gave you and said, but you have to make one bet on the Atlanta Falcons. What would that bet be? Would the bet to be for the Falcons to win X amount of games? Would it be for Bijan Robinson to run for X amount of yards? Would it be for the defense to get X amount of sacks? Something like that. That's why I'm trying to go with this. So if you had an opportunity to have $100, which bet would you lay down? And again, the main question we have today, the one Falcon player we haven't heard enough of this all season yet, we need him to succeed to get on the right path in 2023. Again, appreciate everybody joining us today in here. I see folks are lining up. My brother False Start, how you doing, brother? Good to see you today. First on board. We appreciate you. Dwayne says our entire team. Well, I know there are a lot of people that probably feel that way, and I get you as far as that's concerned. But really, I really wanted to kind of be a little bit more specific than that. But we do, yeah, everybody does have to do their part for us to succeed. But the one player that you guys haven't heard of a lot, the ones you haven't heard of a lot yet, we need them to succeed. Big John Higgins is in the house. What's going on, John? How you doing? Say, Uncle Steve, what's happening? Out here riding, so can't talk, but I'm listening, brother. That is awesome. Appreciate you always checking us out there, brother. Be safe, be safe, be safe. My brother Ray is in the house. How you doing, Ray? Good to see you in here, man. Thank you for joining us here, my brother. Good to see you. Greg from Greg's Custom Kicks. Y'all make sure y'all check my brother Greg out. Greg trying to get his stuff on point for the 2023 season. If y'all need some shoes, some custom made shoes, I got mine. You need to get yours. Y'all make sure y'all get in touch with my brother Greg on here. Now, Greg talks about the bet for Vegas. He says over 9 games would be my bet, and that's probably pretty good. I know earlier this year they were a lot of the numbers were at 8.5. I almost hate that they've gone up that high because last year was like 4.5. That was the number for the Falcons to win last year. So that was an easy one to do last season. Last season, I was able to made my money back at the halfway point of the season. So that's always good. Fallstar says, Desmond Ridder is the answer to that. We haven't touched on his attributes. We've dissected his faults, but still haven't given him the benefit of his upside. My other answer to that is the O-line. Okay, I hear that. It's kind of interesting to me. I haven't really, and I know some people have. I'm not talking about all, because all creators aren't made equal. I haven't heard a lot of folks talk about deficiency. The main thing that has bothered me, and not even bothered me, the most thing I'm concerned about, I just hope he's ready for the stage. There isn't a lot about that. I was picking on him during the OTAs a little bit, a little high throw here, a little low throw there, or something like that. But to be honest with you, I can't even argue a lot about his physical attributes and stuff. He's the most athletic quarterback we've had here since that guy from Virginia Tech was drafted, without a doubt. So I can't complain there. That's one of the things a lot of us were complaining about when Matt Ryan was here. Matt Ryan has lack of athletic ability and to be able to move out of the pocket and get out of things and stuff like that. I have no doubt that Desmond is that guy. So there isn't a lot negatively to talk about his attributes. I just think it's an internal feeling that I just have to say, ooh, I hope when those lights are on, and trust me, the lights are going to be brighter week 1, game 1, coming out to shoot than they are in game 14, 15, 16, 17 when they're not as significant. So that's my only concern as far as he is. Brother Larry in the Dixon Way, how you doing, sir? Say good afternoon. The Dixon Way. Y'all make sure y'all check it out. My brother just crossed the hot coals and made it to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Congratulations to you and your wife, Shonda. Y'all do such a great job over there breaking down the Braves, the Falcons, the Hawks. Shoot, I think I even saw you. Did you do the All-Star game too? Am I not mistaken? But if y'all want great live reaction video, y'all check my brother Larry out over at the Dixon Way on YouTube. James is in the house. What's going on, cuz? How you feeling there? It's good to see you, brother. Mike Cover in the house. That's my work buddy. What is going on, sir? Good to see you. My brother Austin is here. What's up, Austin? How you doing, sir? Happy Friday to you. And it's hot, man. Y'all make sure y'all hydrate today, man. That's as soon as I leave here, that's the first thing I'm gonna go do and get some water, because it's that little muggy, nasty kind of heat, and it's supposed to get worse coming up this weekend. So y'all make sure y'all hydrate yourselves if you're in the Atlanta area. My brother Mike is in the house. What's up, Michael? Says, what's up, my friend? Hope all is well. It is, man. Good to see you, man. I'm glad to holler at you, brother. I hope we have a lot of positive things to talk about going into the Falcons season this year. Dixon Way says, I'm driving and listening, going to get lunch out the pressure washer in the car and the drive. Bro, that's something I need to do. First I need to clean the car. I haven't had, and I'm not talking about one of those go through the instant car wash. I'm talking about one of those sit down, go through the whole car, vacuum, almost a little bit, not quite detailed, but almost one step from detailing. That's what I need to do to my car. But goodness gracious. Austin says his 27th birthday tomorrow. Damn, I feel old, but I had to stop and listen to the OG Uncle Steve. How you doing, man? Austin, congratulations first on 27th birthday. Man, I wish the things I know now that I wish I knew at 27. But enjoy your youth, brother, and hang on to it as long as you can. But God willing, you'll get an opportunity to get up here in your 50s and live your best life, man. Live your best life, brother. That's the one thing I would say to you. But you enjoy your birthday, man. Enjoy your birthday. Rusty, what's going on? Russ says Bijan over 1,000 all-purpose yards is the safest bet if healthy. Yeah, I think that, Rusty. I think that might be a given, even if he doesn't try. Now, think about this. I think I was talking about this the other day. Now that we've gone to 17 games, you only need to average, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 43 yards total. Let me get my Atlanta Public Schools knowledge back in here again. And guess this. No, I'm sorry, a little bit higher than that. Okay, for a 17-game season, he would only need to average 58 all-purpose yards each game, which he's going to probably have a couple of games that he'll go over 100. So that's where I would feel like that is probably, to your point, a very, very safe bet as far as that's concerned. Coming back to the question, in case folks are just coming in, the question is two questions. First question is, one Falcon player we haven't heard enough of this offseason, yet we need him to succeed in 2023 if we're going to have a successful season. Second question is, heading to Vegas, hopefully sometime in July, and just want to know that one bet. If somebody gave you $100 and said, you got to make the bet, what is the one bet that you would take and spend that $100 on, hoping that you get some returns there? Let's get back to it over here. Brother Winston is in the house. What's going on, Winston? Good to see you, my friend. Scooter's here as well. What's up, Scooter? Say good afternoon. What we talking about? I just laid it out there. Hopefully you were you jumped in right at that same time. Again, one person whose name we hasn't heard. So, we'll kind of we'll kill off the Desmond, Bijan. Those two guys have probably been the most polarizing this offseason. And that one person's name that you need in order for the Falcons to have a 2023 successful season. Facebook user says, "What's up, My question is, if the Falcons become a true Super Bowl contender starting this year, how long can we sustain it? With a young group and a quarterback on a rookie contract, I worry about the long term and who we can afford. Just curious." Now, this team is young. And when you think about the one-year contracts we have, you talk about Calais, you talking about Bud Dupree, those folks, I'm not saying they're going to be replaceable, but I think those are spots that I don't think it's going to be super difficult to go back out and grab somebody else, especially if we have a successful season. If you have a successful season, the Falcons, that's the best advertising in the world. You go out there with a second-year Desmond Ridder and make the playoffs. And that would mean you're on the up. So you go out there and make the playoffs this year with this team. I think your prospects to sustain success should be good. And you have pretty much a good chunk of this team that are still kind of babies from the 2021, 2022 draft. So you still have a lot of youth on this team. And if Desmond turns out to be who we think he is, rookie contract, but remember, he was a third-round pick. So you only would probably get 2 years of that free. Now, if let's say the unbelievable happens and he runs to the Super Bowl and shows that he's that guy, okay, then all bets are off. And I'm not saying hold back your success just to hold back that contract, but I will say this. If Desmond is as good as some of the fans hoping he is, all that rookie contract stuff will be out the window because he's going to want some long-term stability. So I hear what you're saying. I think right now we're at a point still with about $10 million under the cap, so we can still do some things. So I like the direction we're going. I think we'll be fine. I think we can sustain it for a while. To answer the question, Winston says, "Happy Falcons Day, everybody." I'll start giving his love and happy birthday to brother Austin in the house. Austin replies back, and the Facebook user says, "Kyle Pitts' name hasn't been mentioned much this offseason. I think he has a breakout year. What says you?" I hope he does. And it's kind of, I don't want to say I'm super worried about it, but it does bother me. I know there was a little bit of talk in the chat. I know in Atlanta Bird Gang on Facebook, which I'm a deep part of, a lot of talk about, where is Kyle? We haven't even seen Kyle on the sidelines. We haven't even seen him at all. And the word from the front office is he's fine, rehabilitating. He'll be there for training camp. So I hope so. But it does make me wonder about the diagnosis of a MCL. Now, I can't tell you about playing on the field with an MCL injury, but I can tell you I was 4, my daughter's 13, so it would be a year before she was born. So I was 41 years old and still pretty active 41, even for a big guy. I played a lot of basketball, a lot, and tore my MCL, and they had to do, it was a complete tear, and they had to I had to repair it. And I was probably, once you do the surgery, they get you right on your feet and get you rolling. And I'm not exaggerating, maybe 3 months later, maybe 3 months, I was on the basketball court, kind of shooting and, moving around and doing what I'm doing. Now, I also am not naive. Each body is different. I consider his body to be extremely better than my body. You talk about a 21, 22-year-old in excellent shape. I'm just wondering about the validity of the injury. I'm not questioning what people are saying, but boy, this amount of time since November that it's taken, boy, this sure smells like an ACL more than MCL. But again, each person, each body is different. But I'm just wondering about that. I really am. That is kind of interesting. Todrick, what's going on, Todrick? How you doing there, brother? Good to see you in the house. Dwayne says Kyle Pitts needs to remain healthy. As we just talked about, absolutely. All-Star says, and don't forget about that abundance of cap room heading into the offseason. That's right. We got another year that, I mean, we're gonna be players for the next couple of years, but we got to still draft good too. Don't forget that. Scooter says Ritter at 2,600 yard passing. I put a nice bet on that, and that's a good number right there. I got a feeling they would probably start that number a little higher than that. I think they have a little more faith in that 2,600 yards. That's barely. I don't even think that's 150 yards a game, is it? Let me see what. Let's see. Let's go to the Atlanta Public Schools calculator one more time and see what we're talking about. So for 2,600 yards, 17 games, that means he would have Mariota-ish numbers where he would have to throw for only 152. And who knows? Not trying to be funny, Scooter might be on to something because it might not require him to throw a whole lot. Do you see what they did with Daniel Jones, with Coach Daboll did up there with him? He took the ball out of his hands a lot. He didn't have Daniel Jones didn't have crazy numbers, and look what his contract turned out to be. So that's a good one. That's a good number. Rusty says, I seen someone on the Falcons YouTube page yesterday say that this is the most talented roster we ever had going into the season. I was going to grill him, but I sat there and thought about it. He might not be far off with that comment. I think 2012 was the most talented, but thoughts on that? We are a creature of what have you done for me lately? Because I go back to and I'm trying to think, is that Raw with Eddie Murphy and the little skit where he talking about if you hadn't had food in a long time and somebody gives you something and you think that's the best it is, and he used the cracker as an example. It's like if you ain't had a cracker in a long time and somebody had you a saltine, you'll think that's the best cracker in the world. And I don't know if y'all ever had saltines. I don't even know if they still make saltines. But saltines was not very good compared to Ritz, compared to Townhouse. But I say that to say, because we haven't won in 5 years, I think there's a tendency to possibly overhype the talent coming in. Now, don't get it twisted. This is the most talented Falcon team, I would say, coming into a season since, I say, 16 into 17? Because nobody knew what 15 into 16, so we can't play that game. We can say the roster, but there was nobody in 2015 talking about breakout year because of all these great people in position. 16 into 17, after winning the Super Bowl, you knew what you had. So you could say, okay, that was a talented team going into that year. There were some the year when Todd Gurley got over here, and we at that time still had Julio, still had Calvin Ridley off of his good rookie season and everything like that. And a lot of people thought that was a talented team. I do not probably prescribe to that. And Rusty, when you start talking about talent, 2012, obviously that was a talented team. There are a lot of talented teams we had in the 90s. And I know I can go back to the 80s as well. We had the greatest team ever, talent-wise, in 1980. But, I mean, I don't go with the most talented ever going into the season. I disagree with that. But I think over the last fairness 6 years, this might be the best we've had going into the season. I think we just get tainted, y'all. Winston says Troy Anderson for the success player in the defense getting at least 35 sacks. Both good numbers. I like the 35 sack number. That might be a good bar right there for a bet. Troy Anderson, man. Troy Anderson is surrounded by knowledge, by experience. So now maybe, and hopefully after last year, the game slows down for him. I would love to see what him and Caden Ellis are going to be able to do back there with all that speed. Now, you got to put it to work. But, Larry says 10-7 with the division win or head to a roll. Yeah, it's going to be a tough season if he doesn't have a win. It's going to be tough in Arthur Smith's seat if we don't have a winning season this year. That's for sure. Clayton, what's going on, sir? So I'm just waiting on this game scheme, defense, and offense for games. There shouldn't be no excuse from Arthur Smith. Yes, I got him on the chopping block. Let our record be 2-6 the first 6 weeks. I'm calling for a new coach. That's fair. It's fair. We have, in essence, and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, Clayton. There is going to be a little bit to give him because of the lack of talent on this roster in 21 and 22. There is a little to be said, but you're absolutely right. If you want to keep it 100, Clayton, some of Coach Smith's decision-making blew a couple of games for us last year. You know that. I don't have to tell you. I think we left a couple of wins out there. I think if and I specifically look at the first New Orleans game, the Washington Commanders game, the Pittsburgh Steelers game. I look at those three. Oh, yeah, and the Chargers. I look at those games to say, if we had just a little bit more consistency in the play calling or decision-making in certain positions, I think we could have won the South by 2 games. And that's not even exaggerating. I really do. But I hear you loud and clear. RC, what's going on, RC? You said, love the background, love your content. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, man, I'm trying to, I got some other things in the works. There's one thing I'm working on over here. So I'm trying to change my angles in my little man cave. I saw one of the man caves on, I hope y'all saw that video on AtlantaFalcons.com. And they had the guy with the little hallway with all the jerseys that was framed and the big TV and stuff. And I got jealous and I started saying to myself, nah, let me start moving some stuff now. So if y'all see me do some extra work, that's y'all will know because I was motivated by that. But RC, I appreciate it, man. Always appreciate the compliment, man. Thank you so much. False Star said 2,600 for Ritter and he will be replaced. That's actually a good point. Now, if he has 2,600 yards and the team rushes for 3,000 and we're 11-6, maybe not. But I hear you. Facebook user says everything has improved from the defensive line to the secondary, from the offensive line to the running backs, the receiving core. Arthur Smith has done more with much less. If we don't make the playoffs, it will be a failure. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Everything you said in there was correct. And again, I still say he left a couple of wins on the board. I think he did. False Start says, that's true. My wife isn't the best cook, but when I'm hungry, her food is amazing. Man, don't be put this out here and then your wife come in here and walk on and say, what are you talking about, baby? You better own up to that. That's actually really good. I might have to steal that from you, brother. That's good. Tajin says, hey, what role will Scotty Miller play in changing your perception of this offense? I'm thinking Scotty Miller for just a quick comparison-ish. I'm hoping he's going to play the role of Taylor Gabriel. If you remember what he did in 16 and 17, if he can give us that deep threat, because brother got some speed. You saw what he did with Tampa Bay. Never forget that touchdown they scored before the half against whoever that was they were playing to get the berth into the, was that the Rams? To get the berth into the NFC. Into the Super Bowl. But Scotty got some wheels, man. And if he can do some stuff like that, I would love it. Rusty said, I was still a swimmer. As most people were, Rusty, but it's all good, man. You still got more knowledge than a lot of folks out there, brother. I'm always accepting that. That Falcon fan, what is going on, man? Good to see you in the house. Let me get it right. That one Falcon fan. Let me make sure that is correct. The Falcon in the house. What's going on, Benny? How you doing, my friend? Just got on. Probably already said, but best bet would be over, under, and wins. And that was one of them that they brought up, Benny. I appreciate that. I'm trying to sneak my way out there. Me and the wife try to get us a little small little vacay before our daughter goes back to school and gets rolling. But yeah, that's probably good. Even though that number, and don't get me wrong, I love easy bets. Last year, Vinny, they had the number at 4.5. It was one, because MGM, Westgate, and I want to say Caesars had the number at 4.5, and there was somebody that had the number at 5.5, which is weird to me going into last year. But I knew that was going to be easy money because I knew we were going to win at least six or seven games. But yeah, that's actually a really good one. RC says, I tweeted Ridley and asked how much he was to bet. The Falcons beat the Jazz. Boy, you wrong for that. You are wrong. Oh, man, say waiting for his response. I'm going to say something real quick about the betting thing. And I want people to understand why I'm going and also understand there are consequences for your actions. So in this little spiel, I'm not trying to tell you that these guys don't deserve to get what they are supposed to get. Because at the end of the day, that was probably fine print that they didn't pay attention to. It was one of those forms. You know how people have the forms, like when you close and then they have 80 forms for you to sign. And by the time you get to form 60, you're not reading, you just sign it. So I'm talking about that. Since the NFL has kind of gotten into the fantasy football, gambling, now we're in Vegas type of thing, it's a lot of that action that's swirling over them now. Again, no excuses, because they put out what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do. I just saw the thing yesterday where they had all of the stuff talking about what you can't do. You can't go into a place that has a sports book, yet there is a rule to say if it's a restaurant in the casino that you're trying to go to, as long as you're not in the sports book area, you can do that. There are little things in there like that. So I just say all of this to say, when you're talking about another revenue stream to line the pockets of those 32 billionaires in the NFL, and like crack to a crack addict, or like alcohol to an alcoholic, if I'm surrounding you with it, there's gonna be temptation. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you these guys don't deserve punishment. 1 year, kind of strong, but I guess message received that you're not supposed to be doing. Now, the one genius from Indianapolis that they say he was making $25 bets all the way, and then all of a sudden there was one where he made a bet on a running back from Indianapolis, which I'm sure was Jonathan Taylor, to run for 100 yards or something like that, and he actually won the bet. So it's kind of like one of those things where you're like, okay, you're going to bet on your own team, on a teammate you probably know what's going on with, sometimes you got to be smarter about that. But I just don't think the NFL needs to be so holier than thou when it comes to that, because I just say that's just a lot of money around that. And and if I'm a player putting my body on the line and I see these billions of dollars coming in from FanDuel and whatever the other one is, and these commercials now, MGM Grand, Caesars, all the commercials that we see in the last 2 years that we didn't see years ago. And you saying to yourself, they're not coming on just because they happen to, just come out of nowhere. They're paying the NFL plenty of money. So I encapsulated all of that by saying, don't bet if you're an NFL player during the season, and especially in your facility. But from the NFL ownership standpoint, I also say, okay, before y'all drop the hammer on some of these cats, y'all think about how much stuff y'all surrounding them with. And these are, for the most part, folks who came into the NFL that did not know how to handle that much money, did not know what to do with some of this money. And you telling me that I'm looking at all these, I have some little 9-year-old in Bushwick, Iowa, that's betting on me to run for 50 yards and I can't make money myself. I'm just saying, something to think about. Not excusing the behavior, just something to think about. Brother Millie in the house. What's going on, Millie? Good to see you, brother. Kelly says Tampa versus Green Bay. I'm assuming you're talking about from the bet standpoint, from the Vegas standpoint. I think that's what you're talking about. But what's going on anyway, brother Kelly? Said that one Falcon fan said, I heard the rumor CP might be getting traded to the Cowboys. I was like, hell no. What do you think? Should we trade him? I'm going to say this. That's a great question. And if someone asked that same question, it was about 2 weeks ago. And they were like, oh, man, Bijan's on here. Algier's here. Is CP, do we even need CP anymore, especially at an elevated salary? A couple of weeks ago, my answer would have been, of course you keep CP. CP might have been your signature face on the team the last 2 years. Yes, even when Matt Ryan was here a couple of years ago, because Matt didn't have the greatest year his last year in 21. And CP was kind of the face of the team. And it's fun to see CP going all out for the Falcons on Twitter, brokering deals with free agents, on the sidelines, entertaining the kids and things like that. Those are things that I look at and I say, wow, just for his ambassadorship, I would keep him around. However, if you go to the business side of it, you also say, okay, if Dallas is going to ante up something in future draft picks or something like that, you got to think about it, folks, because that is about $5 million that you can clear up even more cap space. For somebody, one way or the other, CP wasn't going to be here in 2024. I can tell you that. So it is something to think about. I'm kind of like you. I think as much as I try not to get emotionally attached to single players like that, but I was like you. I was like, oh, no, not CP. But in the business sense, if they give me a 4th round, or shoot, maybe even a 5th round for a 32-year-old running back, I think about it. He's not going to start for anybody unless somebody gets hurt. Kind of like he came into our situation. So, I don't know. Rusty said, I'm truthfully shocked we didn't re-sign Evans, putting a lot of faith in Walker and Anderson. Bud, Kalen, AK, Malone are really guys you want setting the edge, not patrolling the middle of the field. And that's very interesting. But you know what it is too, Rusty? I think Rashawn might be trying to get some paper. That's the only reason I can say he's still out there. It's not like he signed with anybody. So maybe he's trying to wait for the highest bidder, wait to see what happens at the end of the day. I will say this. If Rashad Evans comes back to this team, that might be another half win on the Vegas board. And I say that because he would be somebody that you would trust controlling that middle. And now you got some sustained guys on the line. Now you got some solid help in the secondary. Ooh, that's going to make his job so easy. So, that would be great. Francis, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us in Uncle Steve's Lounge. And if y'all don't mind, if you get a chance, push the like button for me, man. Get these videos out there so people can look up Atlanta Falcons and say it's Uncle Steve or something like that, and they'll come into the area. But if y'all get a chance, man, push the like button on the video. I would really appreciate it, especially you guys on YouTube. Please make sure you do that. And don't forget to subscribe. Hey, it is what it is. When it comes to the regular season, folks, we got some things we're going to be doing and we're trying to do. Just appreciate you all getting us out there into the atmosphere. Millie says, to be honest, I want to see this pass rush this year. I care less about offense. I believe in AS. Yeah, Millie, if there's one part of the side that I think I'm feeling good about, it's the defense. And it's not because of the acquisitions we made. This dude Nielsen, man, this dude Nielsen is making me a believer. I was watching how he was coaching these guys, coaching these grown men. And I don't know. I'm not trying to say Dean Pease was the anti-defensive coach. He did what he did with what they gave him. But I think this defense is going to be talked about more than this offense coming in this year. That might be my fresh take for 2023. I think people are going to be talking about this defense more than they will the offense going into 23. Dexter says, I'm really trying to see what defense we will be playing because I don't think our linebackers fit a 4-3, maybe a 4-6 or 3-5. What you think, by the way? What's up? By the way, what's up? What's up, Dex? I think it's funny because they asked him that question and he was so sly, Dex. He would not come off of it. Are you going to run a 3-4 or 4-3? Well, we're going to do whatever we need to do to get the job done. So he's like, I ain't telling neither one of y'all what we're going to do. But if you think about the linebackers that we did bring in here, I would tend to think it kind of leans more towards not a 4-3. If you think about the speed that we have out there with some of these guys now, I tend to think it's going that way. That's my opinion. And I'm not an expert by any means, just a fan with his opinion. But I don't think it's going to be a 4-3, though. Even with the linemen that we have in there. Now, do I see us flexing in and out? Absolutely. You're going to see different looks throughout the game. It's a chess game these days now. It totally is. But I think you're going to see more of a 3-4 look in most sets, in my opinion. Facebook user says, how extensive is your jersey collection? I used to keep count, quite honest with you. And when I kept count, now it's like right before the pandemic, I know I had at least 40, probably about 40-something jerseys. And I've definitely bought, well, obviously, all 4 of these guys, I brought them within the last 12 months. Or in one case, let's see, two of them I bought within the last 2 months. So it's pretty extensive. And if you'll notice, like I've kind of kept it staple, but during the year, a lot of times if I the MVP or somebody of the game, I'll switch that jersey out. So just look for the locker room to switch around during the year. I appreciate you checking it out, though, man. I'm trying to work to even spruce this up a little bit more, but for the most part, yeah, it's way over 50 right now. Now, this does include some multiples because I have multiple. Right now, Julio is probably ahead. I think I got like 4 different versions of Julio. Either 4 or 5, and I got about 3 or 4 versions of Matt. So aside of those 2, everything else is different. I had Andre Rison I just ran across, Todd Gurley, who else I got from the old school? I got TJ Duckett. I got Warwick Dunn. I have quite a few. You know who I don't have? Absolutely true. Not even joking. I don't have Mike Vick. And it's not that I have been avoiding him. For a long time, you couldn't get Mike Vick. You couldn't get Mike Vick jerseys. I know I can get one now. So I probably will update that. That's the one guy I haven't got, which is shocking. Kelly says that was the game you mentioned where Scotty Miller scored right before the half NFC Championship. It was in Green Bay. Thank you. I got you. Tampa against. Thank you, Kelly. And when I start rolling, I forget. Thanks, Kelly. I appreciate that. Yes, that was the game. Scotty Miller caught the touchdown. I don't even know why I was thinking it was somebody else, but yes, that was Green Bay. You're absolutely right. Retro G in the house. What's going on, man? Says Scooter says, don't know if this is true, but did you hear about the new rule saying the quarterback can't hand the ball off if the carrier is in front? No, I didn't hear that. I did not hear that. I did not hear that. Interesting. Facebook user says, trade Felipe Franks for a Snickers bar. Man, y'all keep Felipe. Felipe ain't going nowhere, y'all. You know how I know? Because Felipe went to Germany with the Falcons. Felipe going to be on the special teams. And I'm going to tell y'all, and for those who probably are just like, Steve, what are you talking about, huh? I think for somebody like him that right now he's playing the tight end position and somebody who can mess around and be an emergency quarterback if you happen to need him or something like that, hey, he might be valuable. Folks, he's not going to be in the starting lineup. He's not going to be, as a matter of fact, if he ends up in the starting lineup, God help us all, because that means somebody's injured or two people are injured. So I don't know. I know there's a lot of darts thrown at my boy Felipe, but Felipe is not playing a significant part on this offense. So as long as he can play special teams and he can bring the Gatorade, I could care less. I think he still has a role on the team, man. I'm just y'all are wrong. He said a Snickers bar. Dexter says we don't need the $5 million from Patterson. We need him just in case somebody goes down. We need him for the defense to have to think about. I think his values outweigh 6 or 7 pick. And Dexter, you're not gonna. This is not me saying make the move. This is me saying, because you make a good point. This is me saying, from a business standpoint, I would get it. Now remember, Dallas just cut Zeke this offseason and really don't have. I think they drafted a running back late. Didn't they draft a running back late? Dallas did? I think they did. But yeah, look, for my man, Pollard is kind of on the injury, kind of injured all the time himself. So I'm not sure getting another running back is a bad idea if you can. Now, could they poach in somebody else's backyard? Maybe. But $5 million right now for somebody who's basically going to kind of be your second. He's not going to be first string. I still say that's going to be Bijan. You don't draft a running back at number 1 with the 8th pick and put him second team. As great as Algier looked at times. So, yeah. Ray says, I think Rashaan Evans is trying to get a bag right now. Absolutely. This past season was his best statistical season since being drafted in 2018. Again, Atlanta put him back on the map. He had a lot of tackles and played solidly. Vinny says, I got a Goldberg jersey. Oh, wow. See, that's deep right there. So you got a Goldberg jersey. I would have loved to have one of those. Yeah. Y'all remember Goldberg did play for the Falcons. Heard that before. What's going on now? Good to see you in the house. Winston says, I think the 4-3 will be the base so we can show looks with Grady and Amiyata on the field together with Campbell. But the 3-4 would get a lot of play. Only thing I'm nervous about is the weight of the outside linebacker at the 3-4. Yeah, because they don't have any. You're absolutely right, because they're thin. And if you got somebody with some size, it's going to be some problems. I agree. Excuse me. Big Low Country Sports. What the world, Bo? Y'all check out my buddy at Big Low Country Sports on YouTube. Y'all already know who he is. Put out an excellent video the other day talking about the aforementioned Ryan Nielsen and how he works. And I'm not even gonna lie to you. That's probably, I was already hyped about him. We were, and I'm trying to think, was that you and I, Big Low, was our other buddy, Smitty Sports Machine and 95 North Sports Talk. But earlier I think it was post-draft, and we were talking about the biggest acquisitions. I think Ryan Nielsen is probably that person, more even than some of the players, that is going to make a huge difference in the success of this team going forward. And that's me. But that was an excellent video. Y'all make sure y'all go check that out on Big Low Country Sports. Winston says Felipe is a project, 9-10, unless he has a crazy injury, he'll make the roster. It's not like him at the 53rd spot is going to cut a starter for that. And that's where I'm going. That's why I'm going with that. Yeah. There's not, you're not, it's not like you're going to cut Felipe to keep a prime player. You still need folks for special teams, guys. And if you're going to have somebody in special teams, I'd rather have somebody who can catch a ball out the backfield, even though he dropped a couple last year, that can possibly be an emergency quarterback, so you don't have to spend money on fielding another quarterback in here. So I don't know. Might not be a bad thing. Austin, thank you, sir. Said Dallas got Deuce Vaughn. That's who I was hoping. That's the Kansas State kid, right? That's who I was hoping the Falcons were going to pick up. Winston says the same thing. Thanks, Winston. Said Dallas draft Deuce Vaughn in the 5th, 6th round. Yep, that's who it was. I thought that's who it was. I was hoping we would have snuck him. Little small dude. Absolutely. Wallace said, what's going on? What's going on, brother Wallace? Good to see you in the house. Thank you for joining us here on the Friday brunch. Appreciate y'all. Austin says the Tyler Bijan duo with Patterson closing is going to be for real, be lethal. I don't think nobody has a better running back room than the Falcons. It's going to be hard pressed to find one. That's for sure. That's for sure. It's going to be interesting. Our running game is going to be tight. Big Q in the house. What's up, man? How you doing? What's up, Oak Steve? Sorry I'm late, man. I'm out here on the road working. Let me tell you something. If you know me well enough, Q, dude, I'm never going to stop a brother from getting his money, or sister from getting their money. You go out there and do like I do sometimes. When Big Low be on the air trying to sing, and sometimes, you got to turn it down when Big Low's singing. So when he on this, I listen to him. I turn it I turn it on and listen to him. But I'm sorry, because I know he either gonna text me or say something in this cross. So let me be careful. Oh man, Lisa, how you doing? Said late, so watch the replay. It's all good. Thank you, Lisa, and always glad to have your support on here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Winston said Deuce's father is part of Dallas's scouting department. I was like, oh, you know what? That was the little thing. That's right, where he was there and they made the big deal. Yeah, that his son was being drafted. That's right. If you go back and watch, y'all, go back and watch some Kansas State last year. That little dude is good. He's just small, man. He's just small. And I know there has been success with some small runners, but he's just small. But he got big heart. Got big heart. Absolutely. Absolutely. That might be a sneak little pick there for Dallas. Wallace says, I think Felipe will have to beat out Fitzpatrick to make the roster this year, but I could be wrong. And well, maybe so. Maybe so. And I'm not trying. Listen, I'm kind of saying a little bit of this tongue in cheek. I'm not going to lose sleep if they cut Felipe, But at the same time, I also, just think about the different things he can do. And it's always good to have folks that can play multiple positions, for especially for the quarterback position to be emergency. See, I knew this was coming. Okay, so I'm making this public, and I told him we were going to do this. So I don't know when we're going to do this, but I told him we're going to line up. We're going to have a karaoke machine in front of us, and we're going to go head to head. And we should do it live, but we should do it live so we can get votes on this. And we will for once see who's the official lead singer of our multi-platinum group, Southern Silk, which includes Antoine Babyface Smith, and Alberto Pitbull from 95 North. We're gonna but I just gotta get him to come up to the challenge. I don't know if he's gonna, I don't know, maybe he'll raise his game up and we'll get that done for y'all quicker than normal. We can have that little battle out, because I'm still trying to figure out why I'm singing background in this group. Austin says, I'm trying to get my YouTube, and I would love to get to talk football with you, Uncle Steve, and Big Low and Smitty. Oh, brother, just say the word, man. Say the word. Say the word. Get it together. Send me a little link and let me know. Absolutely. Dude, we ready for you. Facebook user says, Arthur Smith play calling can be suspect at times. I'm interested to seeing if he can be creative enough with Robinson and CP. He better be. He actually better be. Look. He got to buy these first 2 years, folks, and we can be. And I know people are going to say, but you're supposed to win every time. I get it, and he is. He left a few games out there last year. His show improved time this year. Can't be throwing the ball at the 2-yard line on third down when you got the best running game in the NFC. In the next time you do this. So, we'll figure it out. Wallace says, that sounds like a plan. Should happen to live so we can vote on it. Absolutely. I don't know if he got the guts to come on live and do this, but we're gonna hook it up. We gotta hook it up. Probably, maybe we'll try to see if we can do it before the season. Look, we got so much downtime. Maybe we'll try to figure out. I'll talk offline, but knowing him, he's like a shrewd negotiator. He like Lamar Jackson's mom. He holding out for the biggest deal. So I don't know. I don't know how much he gonna want to do that. Oh, I'm gonna hear this so much when I get off this thing. I know. Winston says, Deuce remind me of a stockier Darren Sproles. I highly doubt we will cut Fitzpatrick due to his size and blocking ability. He's not much smaller than Darnell. Yeah, Fitzpatrick is a big dude. Oh, no, I'm not saying he's going to get cut at all. But I do say you just got a lot of things you can do with a Felipe. I mean, we still holding Frank Darby on the practice squad and elevating to the roster. So if we can do that, we can do anything, right? Big Low Country says, ain't nobody coming to see you hold. You know what? We're gonna make this happen. And if he bold enough in his platform, he'll throw out the saying. So I'm calling you out, Big Low Country. I'm calling you out. We're gonna do this. We got to do this. I don't know. We have to have a neutral site though, because I don't know. We might scare some of the karaoke people. Oh man. Austin, got you, brother. Do it to us. Send it to all of us, brother. We got you. Sean in the house. What's going on, Sean? Sean, I saw that nice little car you had on there the other day on your videos, man. That was pretty nice that you had. And don't get me wrong, I'm not into the names and stuff like that, but I saw you out there working on that. That looked good. Kevin in the house. What's going on, my brother? Man, we got to think about, because if you're still in Arizona, right? Because we play Arizona this year. I might have to think about that now that you're out there. I know you're going to the game. You better go to that game. I know you are going to be repping up Atlanta out there. I just thought about that. Dexter says, Frank should not be on this roster. We need to replace him with Pruitt. Damn near everybody we signed was good at special teams. Frank can't do nothing but hold up somebody who needs to be a spot here. Okay, I got you. And again, make it clear, y'all. Y'all ain't hurting my feelings if he gets cut. I was just looking at the versatility of different positions. And when 4 or 5 positions, obviously you're probably not great at one. So I was just looking at his versatility. Biglow says, got the guts. I got the voice. I told you. Like I said again, we might have to do this. I don't know. He making me about to promise this to be in July, but I got to get with him off the record because I don't want to put any pressure on him coming up to my at the last set. My voice. My voice. I got some pollen in my voice. I can't see. First of all, I don't want to hear all that. Q says versus battle. That's right. Versus. Absolutely. We'll have to change the name though, because I know that's probably a trademark. We'll probably have to say against. Lisa says Franks went to Germany with Arthur Smith and Nielsen last week. I have a feeling he's not going anywhere. I said the same thing. I said that earlier, Lisa. I said the same thing. I said when I saw him, you don't take anybody over there to the German, because now we made the connection with Germany. We're officially connected with them. I don't think you go over there and send Frank Darby. And no disrespect, right? But you're not going over there sending practice squad folks. You sending somebody that you think gonna be on the squad. Yeah, in my opinion. Yeah, I know you're gonna be there. I know you are. Brother John Harrison in the house said, have you heard any more about that rule change with the quarterback can't? It's funny. Somebody just said that earlier, brother. I have not, John. I have not heard that at all. But somebody said it earlier in the chat. I have not heard that. Winston says, we usually carry 5 tight ends. Mine would be Pitts, Smith, Hennessy, Fitzpatrick, and Franks. I would cut Franks and bring Brett Pruitt, though. What's the name of the running back we picked up from Washington State as a undrafted free agent? Oh, don't get me the line, man. Shoot, I thought you would probably know more than I would. Facebook user says, figured I'd join in. Trade Franks for 2 hot dogs and a pack of Newports. Y'all are wrong, man. Not the Newport. How about some Cools? That's probably old school. I don't even know if they sell Cool cigarettes anymore, but I know my dad, bless his heart, he used to love them Cool cigarettes. But he said the Newports. Oh man, that is so awesome, man. That is so awesome. So listen, hey y'all, it is 2:00. I said to myself I was gonna hold tight at 1 hour. We're gonna try to make the brunch right at about an hour on Fridays, especially going into the season. But again, I'm gonna try to might be on the road this weekend, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna come in or not. Sunday, if I do, I'm coming in on location, I guess. But hopefully, I will get an opportunity to pop in and talk to y'all. I'm sure I'm going to be talking to Big Low, who is probably going to calling his lawyer right now to set up the against. So we'll figure that out, hopefully, and be able to entertain y'all on the way. Look, I appreciate everybody joining us in the chat. Y'all have been outstanding. Always good to chat it up and talk to y'all. Everyone have a beautiful Friday, man. What we got, about 70-something days till the season starts? Man, I cannot wait. This thing is getting it's getting so close. We are almost there. Last day of June. Next thing you know, it's almost time for, almost time for this thing to get started. Big Low, I'm gonna meet you just like they used to do in wrestling. Woo! To be the man, you gotta beat the man, big guy. So if you want some of the champ, woo! You gotta come down here and ride Space Mountain. I'm just mixing. Anyway, y'all have a great Friday, man. Y'all take care of yourself. We'll see y'all.